Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another live show. In this live show, I'm going to give you and share you some tips, things you should know, things every dog owner should know. I'm going to share with you five of them. And meanwhile, if you have tips or things that you can share with other dog owners, feel free to share it in the comment area or in the chat area as well. And also, I'm going to answer all your questions. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat area as well. I'm going to get to your questions pretty soon. Hope you have are starting your new year. If you have been celebrating the new year, hopefully your doggies are playing by in the background. Um, Hopefully you're celebrating your new year well and everything is going well. And also you're enjoying today. And today is a great day to be a dog owner. Thank you all for being here. I have a presentation that I'm going to start right away. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, again, leave those questions in the chat area. I'll get to them pretty soon. So today I wanted to talk to you about five things or things that you should know. And as I said again, if you have any tips or things that you have figured out, feel free to share them in the chat area or in the comments area. So let's talk about the things that every dog owner should know. Number five is that not all dogs can be left home alone. This you have to, as a dog owner, you should know this by now. And if you're a new dog owner, you should know this as well. So not all dogs can be left home alone. This is very important for sorry, everybody to remember that dogs are social animals and they like to be socializing with other humans and other dogs. They mainly like to have that interaction and be present with humans because humans, in a way, designed and bred dogs for humans. There were some good stuff that were happening with certain dogs um, uh, thousands of years ago, let's say. Uh, Things were going well with this breed or this dog in this kind, and humans felt that okay, we can breed this dog because it's doing good for us, it's good for humans, and it's helping us. Let's do this. Let's breed this dog. So humans designed and bred the dogs for humans, and they need human companion. You know, they need that human company. They feel more secure and happier when there is a human or a company around. For instance, beagles, they have been designed and bred to work in partnership with humans to go for a hunt, right? So they work side by side beside the human to when they're hunting, and when they're done with the hunting, they can be with humans, but during the hunt itself, they can be separated, independent, go and take care of the task that they are supposed to do, and when they're done, they go back to human. So in a way, in a ways, beagles, for example, they are independent, but also very attached to humans. So understanding this itself, um, it should make you think twice, either before getting a dog or after getting a dog, or coming up with a plan that helps you or helps your dog. I have to sneeze. Hold on. Sneeze is coming. Hold on. Uh, okay, you have to come up with a plan to take care of this issue. You can't leave your dog home alone. In general, if you leave your dog home alone, it's like a punishment for the dog. The reason I say it feels like a punishment when you leave your dog home alone is, if you think of it as a dog, as a canine species, in the group of canine species, or in pack of wolves or species of canine, um, if a dog or a wolf or an animal is sick or injured, or it doesn't do its part, is useless in the pack is going to leave that individual alone. And that individual, when they are left alone, basically that means they're going to die, right? They're not going to survive. So it's to that level. When you leave a dog home alone, instinctually they feel like they are going to be left alone to die. It's that severe when you leave a dog home alone. So in general, be aware of this. Some dogs can tolerate being home alone because they are very independent, depending on the breed, depending on the personality of the dog, depending on how you have provided them their individual needs, and they have become an independent, confident individual, so they can stay home alone. But in general, most dogs, they cannot be left home alone. And when you leave them home alone, it feels like you're punishing them. So just wanted to give you the tip number 5, which is not all dogs can be left home alone. Let's go to number 4. Kibble is not a real dog food. Based, if you have ever thought that, oh, I'm feeding my dog kibble, which is dog food, actually, it is not a dog food, a real dog food. It, when it was invented many years ago, centuries ago, when it was invented, it was supposed to be a temporary solution for dogs to eat um, something for now. It wasn't supposed to be a meal for the dog owners, for the dogs. It was during the war or after the war that somebody invented the kibble, because people were moving to the cities and they were busy building the countries and building the cities and building life. They were busy and they had dogs as well. And they wanted to have a solution that they could feed their dogs quickly. So the kibble came into picture, and kibble in general, uh, it's not a food that dogs require. So overall, dogs need fresh food. They can't tolerate, or they don't do well with dry food, not fresh food. So you have to be considerate that it is recommended that as much as you can to add some form of fresh food to your dog's daily intake. Even if you're feeding your dog kibble, try to add as less as 20% and as much as 100% fresh food to your dog's daily intake food. One of the reasons that kibble is not good is because, excuse me, kibble turns into sugar, and in each bag there's around 70% sugar. Kibble, in general, is full of fiber and carbs and things like that that they turn into sugar in when dogs eat. So mainly a bag of dog food contains about 70% of sugar. Feeding fresh food can add, believe it or not, 4 additional years to your dog's life. Yes. Studies have shown that if you start feeding your dog fresh food, it can add additional 4 years to your dog's life. I mean, who doesn't want to have a dog who lives 4 additional years? So, a study recently was done that, for instance, because of mainly because of a dog's diet, the lifespan of, for instance, beagles was 8. It used to be 12. Originally was supposed to be 20 years. And then it went down to 16, and now it's gone down to 8. And I'm going to try to share that study in the description of this video. But yeah, unfortunately, it does reduce your dog's lifespan if you're feeding kibble or dry food. And meanwhile, if there is any questions or any interesting subject that you are sharing, I'm going to share it on the screen as well. Let me just hide this. Terry, for example, is asking, so puppy chow isn't good for a 9 weeks old beagle puppy? Unfortunately, no. Personally, I don't feed my dogs, especially puppy chow. Puppy chow is one of the cheapest and one of the worst brands and products, actually. I wouldn't feed that. I would go towards more feeding fresh food. Fresh food, what I mean by that is, I know it's kind of intimidating when we talk about food and diet and uh, nutrition, but it's not that hard. Basically, you want to feed your puppy, Terry, 75% meat and 25% vegetables. I have tons of videos on my channel that I go over the details of this issue, this topic. And also, I have recipes. I have recipes for um, home cooked food, raw diet food. I have recipes for. There is a recipe that I share in some of the videos. It's a poplof, which is from a recipe from Dr. Judy Morgan. You can also feed that as well. Uh, it's cooked diet. So yeah, I do not recommend feeding puppy chow or dry food or kibble, especially to puppies. So one of the reasons, I'll give you a couple of other reasons why you shouldn't feed. One is because kibble or dry food are full of toxins and full of chemicals that they don't do. They do harm the body of the beagle, and as I said, it will reduce the lifespan of your puppy as well. Um, Other thing is, it's very hard to potty train a puppy who's being fed dry food. It's very hard to potty train, to train a puppy to not to have accidents when you're feeding kibble or dry food. Dry food, the name says it, it's a dry food. So when you feed dry food, the dog gets thirsty and lacks moisture. So therefore, they have to drink more water, and therefore they're going to have more accidents as well. Uh, and because again, kibble is full of fiber and um, carbs and things like that, it forces the puppy to have a lot of poops as well, right? So it causes dogs to have a lot of accidents, which is hard to potty train them. So if you feed them fresh food, you won't have that issue. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for the question as well. And yeah, if you have any tips, additional tips or information that or questions that you want to share with the community, just go ahead and share it. If it's a good one, I'll bring it on the screen. Let's continue with the 5 things that every dog owner should know. So that was number 4, which is kibble is not a real dog food. Let's go number 3. Punishment is not an ideal approach towards dogs. I do not recommend and suggest dog owners to use punishment to to either train their dogs or uh, in general address their dog's behavior. When you use punishment as a tool or as a solution, it shows that you are not doing the right thing. It shows that you do not know what you're doing. This is I know it will hit the wrong spot maybe, but what you don't know, you will destroy. This is a saying from Dan Chief George. It says what I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but one of the quotes that he had is it says something like, "What you don't know, you will destroy." So what that means is if you are depending on punishment, it means that you're so desperate that you don't know what you're doing, and therefore um, you're using punishment to address the issue. Whereas education and knowledge is the key. You have to educate yourself. You have to know exactly what you're supposed to do. So, for example, if you're a puppy owner or if you're a dog owner, you have to know exactly, almost exactly, you have to know how to deal with with a puppy or a dog. So, what I mean by that is when you, for instance, if you decide to buy a car, you don't just go ahead and buy a car. You you study about what car you want first of all, and second of all, you go and take a test. You know, go and they do some driving lessons to figure out how to drive a car. Do tests to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. Pass the test. If you pass the test, then you start figuring out, okay, what car do I want? Do I want a small car? Do I want a big car? Do I want a automatic? Do I want a not automatic? Do I want uh, with the sunroof or not? Things like that. So you go through that process of figuring out how to do things. But unfortunately, when it comes to dogs, many dog owners uh, they just go ahead and get a dog without going through that process, right? Which is very unfortunate and it's very sad. So therefore, when you are overwhelmed with your puppy or your dog, you rely on punishment rather than education. So I highly suggest you to educate yourself, learn about dogs as much as you can, um, as much as you know, as little as 5 minutes a day to learn about something about dogs, putting some effort and energy to learn about dogs. You know, 5 minutes a day or half an hour a day. Everybody has half an hour a day to kill, right? So to waste or to kill, right? So that half an hour you can invest in learning about dogs, right? So you're not relying on punishment to address your issues or problems that you're having. Punishment, yes, works, but it works for a little time, momentarily, but not in the long term. Punishment can backfire and have a long-term actually backfire. It can damage the relationship that you have with your dog. It makes your dog to lose trust from you. It makes your dog to fear you. It makes your dog to say, "Huh." Your dog can be one of those dogs who is very intelligent. Is very Dogs are intelligent, but some dogs are more intelligent than others. And if you use punishment, your dog can say, "Huh, you don't know what you're doing. I can't trust you. I can't bond with you. I can't rely on you because you're so emotionally unstable that you're using punishment. I'm not going to bond with you. I'm not going to rely on you. So I'm going to be disconnected from you. So I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to pay attention to you. I'm not going to uh, be a good dog for you." right? And that is why I would say most dog owners who use punishment in general, they don't have a good, well-behaved dog. That the dog has a lot of problem, a lot of issues because of punishment. And punishment places you in a negative state of mind as well. Um, when you're punishing a dog, when you're using punishment, you are in a negative space in your mind. You are not healthy, in a not healthy zone, and whatever you do, it will cause some negative effects in your dog. So I highly suggest you not to use punishment as solution, whether it's aversive tools or aversive methods, punishment, force, domination, anything like that. I highly suggest you to not use them because it will ruin your relationship with your dog. So be aware of that and try to avoid that. Don't depend on punishment. Let's go number two. This is another reality fact check. A reality check that every dog owner should know, that it takes about 6 months to a lifetime to train a dog. This is another reality again. Dog owners should know. It Nothing happens overnight. No dog can be fully trained less than 6 months. It takes but at least 6 months to train a dog. So when I put a time limit, is means if you do everything properly, if you dedicate 24/7 for 6 months to train your dog, if you use the right training method, if you go through everything that you're supposed to do as a dog owner, provide all your dog's needs, then you will have a dog who's trained within 6 months. But most dog owners, because they don't do the right thing, most dog owners, what they do is they they try to figure out, what do I do? How do I train my dog? They spend so much time, almost lifetime of a dog, to figure out how to train their dog rather than actually training their dog. This is very important. I have I've spent the last 16 years, over 16 years, working with dog owners and training dogs. And the one thing that I've realized and I've noticed is that dog owners, they spend more time figuring out how to train the dog rather than actually training the dog. You know what I mean? So what I mean by that is most dog owners, they start looking for, do I use this tool? Do I use this method? Do I use treats? Do I use clickers? Do I use, uh, well, this trainer says this, I will have to do this. That trainer says that. How about I try that? This trainer says, don't do this. That trainer, don't, I'll try it. They try all these things rather than picking one form of training that sits well with them and it makes sense to them, and just start working and using that method or system or that idea and train their dogs rather than talk about it or think about it. So I want you to also, instead of spending time, wasting time to figure out how to train your dog, I want you to actually to train your dog. Dogs learn in different speeds, just like you learn in different speeds. So if you need to invest half an hour a day to learn, that's fine. You take your time, half an hour a day, and study to learn something. If you need to invest 4 hours a day to learn something, That's also fine as well. But it all depends. Each individual takes different time to learn something, and your dog is the same too. Your dog takes different time to learn. Each dog is different. We can't say that all dogs are the same. In certain aspects, in certain points, we can say yes, dogs are all the same. We can implement similar ideas in all dogs, but in certain things, we have to individualize that with each dog. And a dog cannot learn if it's not trained. You have to understand this too. You can't just say, oh, my dog is going to stop doing this behavior or that behavior if you don't train it. It can't learn if you don't invest time to train it. If you don't invest time in yourself to teach yourself and learn something, and then uh, try to train your dog, then there's no point in that, right? A dog cannot behave properly either if you don't train it. They don't just learn out of nowhere. They don't just learn automatically. If you don't take the time, invest time to train them, you're not going to get the behavior that you want as well. So if you're not sure how to train a dog, also you won't get the results that you want. Exactly, that's what I was saying in the beginning. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't train a dog either. I always tell people a blind cannot lead a blind. If you don't know what you're doing and what you want from your dog, you can't expect your dog to give you what you want. Just common sense, right? If you don't train your dog, you don't get the results that you want. So the more time you take to train your dog, the less fun you're going to have with your dog either. Also, so what I mean by that is, if you want to really have fun with your dog, if you really want to enjoy your dog, if you really want to have a good time with your dog and not to be stressed and not to be overwhelmed with your puppy or your dog, you have to take the time to learn, to study dog training, and become a actually not professional, but become a dog trainer, so you can train your dog. Right. So one of the things that my goal is from this channel and the programs that I offer and from the training that I do with dog owners is to give them those tools and ideas so they can start training their dogs and they can become a dog trainer themselves. So by understanding this fact itself that dogs also need to be trained, you will get better results. And number one is that you don't need. Number one thing every dog owner should know is that you don't need to depend on treats or food to train your dog. This is something that my channel is all about, and I talk about this topic all the time on my channel. And one of the things that I want you to learn is that dogs are more intelligent than you think. Many dog owners, they don't realize that they have a dog who's very intelligent. All dogs are intelligent, no matter what the breed is, no matter what the size is, no matter how old they are intelligent. They're more intelligent than humans, I would say, because they are very connected to their surroundings. They live in a moment, so they dedicate 100% of their energy and efforts and focus to what they are doing and where they're living and how they're doing things. So they're very focused on the moment. And when they are focused in the moment, you become intelligent because you are very connected to your surroundings. And most dog owners, they don't take advantage of intelligence of their dogs, and they don't take the time to train them. um, and they don't do enough with their dogs. They just let them be. So dogs learn faster if they're having fun. So understanding this is the key to dog training in general. If your dog is having fun, and is able to have a good time, it will be more uh, it will have more intuition to learn. So they learn faster if they're having fun. So treats, for example, when you use treats or food, they may have fun. It may look like they're having fun, but it's very short living. It's short lived fun when you use treats. Um, the main thing is if dogs are having interaction with humans. If dogs have interaction with humans, remember in the number 5 was that dogs were designed and bred for humans by humans. So dogs love to be interacting with humans, and if you interact with your dog, that's the best form of reward for your dog, and therefore your dog can learn better and faster, right? Dogs also learn by association and not but by what they get rewarded as well. This is another thing that you have to understand. They associate not to with the feelings that they get, and not but by the reward, the feeling that they get. For example, if you play with your dog is saying, wow, this is amazing, my human is playing with me, right? That feeling that they get, that you playing with your dog and you're interacting with your dog is in seventh heaven, right, and is enjoying that interaction, is enjoying those little moments. That is more important than the reward. It is a reward, but it's more important than reward. The interaction itself, the association that the dog makes that, oh, if my human is playing with me, is interacting with me, it's a good thing. That feeling is more important than the reward. And if you reward your dog on top of that, that is a bonus, right? So the bonus doesn't have to be treats. You don't need to depend on food or treats to train your dog. The fact that you're interacting with your dog is a reward itself. I usually tell people, dog owners, that your dog will do anything for you for free. For free. Remember that. They will do anything for you for free because they have been designed and bred to do tasks for humans for free. They don't have any expectations. But on top of that, if you reward your dog, that's a bonus, right? But that reward or that bonus doesn't have to be treats. There are so many things that can go wrong when you use treats to reward your dog. It makes your dog to depend on treats to do tasks for you. It makes your dog to feel that it has to get a treat in order to do something. Makes your dog to feel internally bad as well. It has a lot of uh, causes a lot of health issues to develop. Dogs are not supposed to be eating all the time. Animals in general, they're not supposed to be eating all the time. They're supposed to eat occasionally, and uh, they're not really hungry all the time. They're just scavenging. They're scavengers. Scavengers, they find whenever they find food, they eat it, right? So it's not that they're hungry; they just eat it. But the thing is, they're not supposed to be fed all the time. And when you use treats to constantly to feed your dog, or use treats to train them, you're constantly feeding them. It puts them in the wrong state of mind, internally, emotionally, and mentally as well. But I find the best way of training dogs is, or they prefer, play, and praise instead of food. So if you dig in deeper in the science of dog training, and let me warn you about, there hasn't been any scientific studies about how to train dogs. There has been scientific studies about dogs, but not how to train dogs. I want you to be remembering this part. Um, but if we if we dig into the science of dogs, we notice that the dogs prefer few things when it comes to rewards: food, play, and praise. But the order, we have to change the order. Food has become the number one, play and praise second and third. We have to change the order. Play, praise, and then food has to be the order. The reason this shift happened is because food companies, they noticed that if they bring the food on top of the order, they make more money, right? It's money is the cause of all the problems, I would say. So the food companies forced the the order to change, but natural order of a dog's reward, based on the studies and science that we have researched and learned, is that it has is play, praise, and then food. Food is on the bottom. But most dog owners, most dog trainers, most professionals depend on food, which is the wrong way of approaching. I'm hoping that with my channel in the new year, I will be bringing you a lot more information about this topic, and how to train dogs without the use of treats or food, but also why you shouldn't be using treats or food. So, in conclusion, of 5 things that every dog owner should know, and I could easily make this list 10 items or even 20 items, but today I decided to go with 5, is that dogs learn better and faster if you use play and praise as reward instead of treats or food, punishment, or aversive tools or methods. They love when you use play and praise, which is they love when you interact with your dog. Dogs learn, you need to learn about your dogs so you can not only have more fun with them, but to allow them to live a healthier and better life. So it's very important for you to take some time a day to study about dogs, to learn about dogs, to invest, financially, time-wise, mentally, physically, to learn about dogs. If you care about your dogs, you will do that. You will invest that, right? And it's not only about training dogs, but to improve our lives. If we are able to improve our dog's life, it will 100% improve our lives. And I wanted to thank you for listening to this segment. And if you want to work with me, and if you're enjoying the content that I share, and if you want to become an educated dog lover yourself, and you want to invest in yourself and learning about your dogs and how to improve yours and your dog's life, you can apply at the link below this, under this under in the description, and or pick one of the online courses to get started that I have on my website. You can become an educated dog lover and have fun with your dog and enjoy your dog if you invest time and invest money, invest effort, and invest energy, and physically get involved with dog training, actually. And I hope those tips gave you some things to think about. um, as I said in the beginning, if you have yourself some tips that you can share with us as well, go ahead and share those tips with us as well. If there are some good ones, I will display it in the video as well. There are some questions here. Let me see if I can figure them out. Uh, SCP says, "Hey Sarah, thanks for all your tips. You're very welcome. I have a 15 months old beagle. Often he just stops when sees another dog. With my acoustic signal, we sometimes can move on a on and pass the other dog, but not always. He's a male. Only when he doesn't know the other dog. When a dog is walking behind us, it's game over. Can't move on." I'm not exactly sure what your question is, and I don't understand acoustic signal. I'm guessing you're talking about the um, electric voice caller. You're using an electric voice caller or some gadgets like that, and sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't work. But let's figure this out. Overall, the problem that you're having is that your dog stops when other dogs are passing by and probably reacts or doesn't listen to you or wants to say hi or wants to interact with other dogs or wants to go and kill them. It doesn't matter what it is, right? The reason when, in my opinion, if a dog is reacting, whether they want to go and play with the other dogs or cats or whatever animals, or they want to go kill other dogs, that means that your dog is not connected with you, is disconnected. What that means is your dog doesn't have same connection that would have with you uh, inside of the house. So what I mean by that is when you when I'm sure when your beagle is at home, is doing well, right? It's comfortable, it's relaxed, is listening to you probably 90% of the time, right? Uh, it's well behaved, but as soon as you step out the door, things things go to hell, you know. Let me bring my presentation so I can show you exactly what I mean. So when that happens, that means you are taking steps too fast, and also you haven't done enough with your beagle. Uh, so what I mean by that is most dog owners. This is something that I teach in my programs, in my program. What it is basically, what we usually say is you are not taking a progressive alignment. I call it progressive alignment. What that means is you're going too fast with your beagle. Your beagle probably is well behaved inside of the house, but you haven't taken the time to train it in different levels. So the levels are, in general, when it comes to dog training, you have to train your dog fully. Train your dog inside of the house 100%, and then move those information to the backyard. And if you're living in a building, an apartment, you have to move it to the hallways. And you fully train again your dog in this level, and then if everything is fully trained, you move to the next level, which is the front yard. And if you live in a building or apartment, you go in the parking lot and practice more there. And then when you're fully trained or in this level, you go and practice it on the streets. And then after that, you practice everything else and learn and train dog in the parks. So dog or parks. I break down the parks also in three levels. It's first one is a park that doesn't have any people, not many people, not many animals are around, nobody's around. You just go there and practice it there. And then the next level is a park that has a little bit of activities happening. And the third level of park is dog park. So what happens with most dog owners, most dog beagle owners, most people in general is they don't do much in the house. They don't do much of training. They do a little bit of training, and then all of a sudden they take the dog to the dog park or on the streets, and they expect the dog to do well, right? And that is the main reasons why you don't get good results. Because you're going too fast. People they don't do enough, and they go too fast, and they expect the dog to behave normal. And that's the problem. That's the problem with your beagle, I would say. And this applies to everybody, actually. You can't expect your dog to do the same way or be good at home, same way in the park or on the street or even in the backyard. Many dog owners they don't even take the time to teach or train their dog in the backyard. So when you go from home to the park, you're skipping levels. You're skipping stages of training, right? And these are the things that I have to teach dog owners, and we go in depth in order for them. Um, and that's why you don't have good control over your dog, right? Because you don't do enough to get your dog to pay attention to you or your cues or your commands, right? And therefore, you don't get the results that you want, right? Uh,
He has follow-up.
hmm?
He has follow-ups.
Okay. Um, I think, okay, let me see the follow-ups here. I say click to get him looking to me. That's the acoustic signal. Clicker. Okay. Walking on the leash is walking fine. Even in crowded off leash walking is really good. Uh, but I said, when he sees a dog he doesn't know on the leash, huge problem just walking by them. So again, as I said, it's it's not. Let me go back to the um, this um, display. What do you call? Uh, so your dog is okay with your beagle is okay with everybody, everything, but as soon as it sees another dog, it starts going out of control. So the reason is because you haven't taken your so it's matter of distractions. Distractions can be dogs, distraction can be squirrel, distraction can be bunny, distractions could be a kid, distractions could be uh, bicycle, whatever the distraction is. In your case, is another dog. So you haven't introduced distractions in slowly to your beagle. You haven't in the house itself. What I usually do with my students is we come up with ideas to create controlled distractions inside of the house. If we can't control our dogs inside of the house, we won't be able to control them on the streets and in the park. So we have to create controlled distractions so we can control our dogs inside of the house. So we can put a controlled distractions in front of our dog and see if our dog is going to respond to us. And if it does, then we go and add additional distractions or more distractions in the backyard and see if the dog responds to us. And so on and so on and so on, to the point that we get to the park. And that's when we start saying, okay, we have done our share, we've done our part, and finally we are in the park and the dog is responding to our corrections or cues. Make sense? Let me see. Thank you for your help. You're welcome. Can't thank you enough for your response. The main reason that leash walking and off leash is good, so good, is because of your videos. So thank you. You're welcome. You are welcome. I hope that made sense. Right. If one more tip that I'm going to share about this question and also this topic that you brought up. Um, I like that you're off leashing your beagle, but one thing that I want you to remember as well, if your dog is not 100% under control of you, no matter what happens, no matter if there's a bunny or no matter if there's a dog or something, if your dog is not 100% under control, I wouldn't off leash that dog. I wouldn't off leash a dog who's not 100% trained or 100% under control. That's just the rule. Just a reminder that the reason I'm saying that is maybe also because of having your dog, your beagle off leash, um, can also help with that issue that you're having. So improve the leash walk, improve the off leash walk, so as well that you can also get great result, better results. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for the question and thank you for your feedback. That means a lot to me that you have been actually benefiting from my content and my channel. Thank you very much. We have Shivansh. Shivansh, what can I bought my dog sleeping in my bed when he was a pup? I thought it was okay, but now he is all grown up while sleeping. If I touch him even a bit, he starts growling at me. I'm sleeping in the couch. Uh-oh. I think from what I understand is you let your puppy to sleep on the couch on the bed with you, and now he's bigger and stronger. And when you ask him to get off the bed, it's growling at you to the point that you have been forced to sleep on the couch. Not a good scenario. Not a good scenario. I think one thing that you have to understand is in my opinion, it doesn't really bother me if the dogs are sleeping on our beds or get on the couches or anything like that. In my opinion, those are not problems. That's not a major problem. That's because uh, dogs, as I said, they've been bred and designed for humans by humans. So we need them to be really connected to us. So sleeping together, being on the couch is not a problem. That's natural thing. That's a normal thing to do between a dog and a human. The only problem is if it bothers you to have a good sleep or it bothers you to have a good rest on your couch, yes, then the dog shouldn't be on the couch. But here's my rule. I call dogs black and white. What that means is yes or no. They're that type of individual. They're that type of creatures. Unlike humans, that we have to, you know, we can negotiate and we can come up with a conclusion with something and we can discuss this and we can figure out things and solve problems. They can't. Dogs, they can't. So what they do is yes or no, right? So what I mean by that is you should be either allowing your dog on the bed or not. Pick one and stick to that plan. If your dog is allowed to be on the bed, that's it. It's allowed on the bed. It doesn't mean that between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., 10 a.m. you can't be on the bed. They don't understand that. They can't figure that out. You have to be clear to your dog that you can either be on the bed or not. So since you have allowed your puppy to and your dog to be on your bed and is being living like that, I don't know how your dog is, but let's say a year or two has been living like that and is got used to the idea to sleep in your bed with you, then you have to come up with an idea to, you know, you have to make some sacrifices and sleep with him or her. Uh,
Is it a lot of doggies in the bedroom?
but if you want complete solution, and if you had it and you want to get the dog out of your bed completely and you don't want this to continue anymore, the solution is, as you may heard, is to maybe close the door of your bedroom when it's time to go to sleep. Don't let your dog in there. Yes, the first few days it would be uncomfortable. It would be annoying. Your dog is going to whine. It's going to cry. I want to go to bed and all that. But just don't let him be. Just say yes or no. So now, if you really don't want your dog in your bed, you're going to say no, and he'll be fine. You know, for a few days, he's going to whine and cry and all that. But eventually, he's going to say, my human doesn't want me in bed. And instead, get your dog a nice, cozy, cushioned bed. Spend a little bit of good money on that bed and give him this nice bed and say, here you go. Enjoy this bed. Have a good sleep in this bed. Um,
Also, he has a food aversion.
there's a follow up question?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get to that. But I hope that answers this question at least. Gianfranco says, many thanks. You're one of the best, Saro. Thank you very much. Thank you for your feedback. Love your range of knowledge and approaches while I was trying to stay holistically oriented. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Yes. Um, Chelon, dear Saro, can you please share some dog food recipes? I feed our golden retriever puppy cooked bacon, cooked chicken, peas and carrot plus puppy kibble. Yeah, if you go to my channel, let me just share with you the screen so you can you can see how you can do it. So if you go to my channel, this is my channel. If you go to search, you can do search, but also you can go to playlist. If you go to playlist and you go and look at diet for dogs explained, this is a playlist, a lot of about 26 videos there. I'm not saying that you have to watch all of them, but let me just bring it to default view. So there are 26 videos here, um, all kinds of topics and all kinds of recipes. And one of them is this one. It's called Raw Feeding Beagle Basics and Recipes. So basically, what it is, I show you exactly what you should feed. This is an example, right? So meats, vegetables, and um, eggs and things like that, supplements and things like that. This is the raw diet. There is a cooked diet as well, the cooked version as well. Which one is? There are a lot of diet related topic videos. So this one is another one that you can go ahead and watch. What to feed? What to feed a beagle dog? Basically, this is the cook version. Let me see. Is this the cook version? I have a lot of videos in this playlist. What I'll do as well, after the show is over, I will put the link in the description. I think there are some videos in the description already. that you can go ahead and watch it and learn about it. But yeah, there are lots of recipes in my channel as well. Um, Basically, to simplify it, is 75% meat, 25% vegetables. All you have to do is, you were saying, let me see here, you were saying you feed cooked bacon, cooked chicken, peas and carrots. That's pretty good. I would say that's pretty good. Plus puppy kibble. Um, as I was saying, as if you could add as much as fresh food that you can to your dog food kibble, that's pretty good if you could do that. Your goal eventually should be to remove the puppy kibble completely from the diet and just stick with the fresh food. Cooked bacon, cooked chicken, peas and carrots. That's pretty good. I would just add maybe an egg to it, if you could. If you could add a little bit of green leafy vegetables to it as well, would be great. I'm not forcing people to go raw diet. Cooked is fine as well, but preferably if you could give all these things, but in raw form would be even better. You can slowly transition to raw if you want to do that. Like, for example, instead of cooking the peas and carrots, you can give raw. Instead of cooking the chicken, you can give raw. The bacon, I would say, bacon is one of those foods that it's pork and chicken. Usually, you have to, when you get it, you want to freeze it to kill the bacteria, and then defrost it and feed the dog raw if you're going to do that. So there are lots of those information in the channel anyway. So yeah, I'll put some information in the description after the show. Where do we go next? Miki Tarian. Okay. Hey, Saro, I'm an Armenian living in Portugal. Bara, Vishpesas, Laves. Thank you for being here. I just spoke Armenian. I just got a beagle and we love it, but sometimes he just won't listen to us. There's a follow up as well. Um
Listen to us, and then just with the use of treats and food.
is this the one? Oh, okay. I just got a beagle and we love it, but sometimes he just won't listen to us just with the use of treats and food. Any tips? Yes. So let me share this with you. Okay, I had prepared this and I'm glad that I had prepared this. So I'm going to bring this up. So your dog needs to get rewarded in order to learn something. Okay. So what what can be rewarded? So I'm going to share with you two types of rewards for dogs. Okay. So there is extrinsic reward, which are usually tangible rewards given to dogs, such as treats and food. So that's the first thing dog owners do. What extrinsic rewards are is because they are external. That means it makes the dog feel good externally for a moment, and the when a dog, you ask the dog to sit, for example, in this example you say, or jump or dance or something, and the dog does it, you give it a treat. That's external form of reward, right? There is another form of reward which is called intrinsic reward. That refers to in incentives that are internal rewards when dogs achieves from completing a task successfully. So what intrinsic rewards are internal rewards. The rewards are mostly psychological and are based on the effort and abilities of the dog. So what that means is, When you use extrinsic rewards such as food, it reduces the long-term motivation for the dog to repeat that task because the food reward is disconnected from the task itself and it's external to the task. So what I mean by that is when you give treat to a dog, it's momentarily. You get that results for a moment, but it doesn't last long. But when you use internal rewards, such as play and praise, it helps the dog to remember that and repeat that task over and over for a long time, right? So that's something that I want you to learn that when you're using treats, you're rewarding your dog externally. Yes, you can see it, right? You can see the treat going in your dog's mouth and your dog eats it. And you think, oh, my dog is happy. Oh, it's rewarding. I'm rewarding my dog. But when you play and or you praise your dog, when you tell your dog, Rover, good girl, good boy, when you say that, even just expressing that, a lot of things go on in your dog's mind and internal system. A celebration, fireworks of um, um, happiness happens inside of the dog, right? That's internal. And in my opinion, when you do anything to improve the inside rather than outside, you get better results. For example, if you have a cut or if you have a rash on your hand or your face or your body, and you're saying, if I put a cream on it, it'll go away. That's externally you're taking care of it. Yes, the rash may go away temporarily, but it will come back because you're not addressing the root cause of the rash. If there is a rash in your body, that means you have eaten something that it hasn't sit well. Maybe there's some stress in your organs. Some of the organs are in stress and they're not doing well. Maybe you're not healthy. You caused yourself something happened internally, and the rash is a signal to you telling you that you have to clean up a little bit internally. And when you address it internally, like by eating less crap food and eating healthy food and avoiding certain things and eating certain things, then the rash goes away completely and never comes back, right? And I had that issue personally in past. Um, so the same thing applies to dog training. When you approach dog training from external point of view and treats, you're not diving deep into your dog's internal system. Therefore, you won't get results. So the yeah, I know I went a little bit longer to explain, but I think it's good. It's a good question, and I want everybody to understand this as learn as well. That if you are thinking that your dog depends on treats and responds only to treats and depending on treats all the time, just remove treats and start investing a little bit of time to play and praise with your puppy. Literally, what I want you to do is for half an hour, for example, a day or a few days a week, for half an hour, just clear your mind. Don't think about your rent. Don't think about expenses. Don't think about everything that is happening around you. And just literally focus on your puppy and play with your puppy and see the results you get. You have to be 100% available, 100% present, 100% um, dedicated to your dog. If, for instance, you're saying, okay, Saro told me that I have to be dedicating half an hour to my puppy. I'm just going to do it because Saro said so, or I'm going to I'm going to play with my puppy, but meanwhile you're thinking about, did I take care of this or took care of that? If you do that, your dog is going to say, I can read minds. You're not present 100%. I'm not going to respond to you. If you're not 100% present, your dog is going to read your mind and is going to call your bluff. So you have to be there. You have to be dedicated to your dog. And if you do that, you will see the great results that you get out of being present, and that's what dog training should be. When I play with my dog, for Annie, for example, I'm 100% there. I'm 100% with her. I'm thinking what she's thinking. I'm responding to her. I'm enjoying the moments that I'm spending with my Annie, playing with her, and she's enjoying every moment as well. And meanwhile, I train as well. As I'm playing with my puppy, I teach her commands and practice commands and things like that. And I have a lot of videos on my channel as well. If you go to my channel, let me just bring it up one more time so you have an understanding of what I mean by that. Let me just bring it up. So if you go to my channel, uh, you can go to search and type in play. If you do that, it'll give you all kinds of videos that you can start play. And if you want to use praise, you say praise, you put praise in the search, and it'll give you all the videos related to praise and play. So all the video, there are videos there that you can watch and you can learn how to do things. Um, but overall, what I want you to do is just spend time with your puppy, right? Just try to remove treats from your vocabulary and depending on treats. That's one of the parts that I hate about training dogs with treats, is that individuals like you, for example, they rely on treats. And unfortunately, the industry has reinforced this idea in dog owners that treats is only the only solution to training and the only way that we can train dogs. And you're Armenian in Portugal. I'm Armenian in Canada. And that is very nice to hear that an Armenian is watching my video and my channels. Thank you for being here. Welcome to be to the channel, and thank you for your question. Let's go to the next question. Where do I go?
Shivansha has had that food aggression.
Okay, Shivasha. Um,
Follow-up question.
where is it?
The second of her follow-up question. I've been sleeping in my couch.
Oh, okay. I've been sleeping in my couch, and also, what can I do about his food aggression?
Dog growls when she touches.
And the dog growls. Yeah, when you touch the dog. Okay. Let me just see if I can bring companion accompany with this. Okay. So I have a video on my channel. It's called "Why is my dog food aggressive?" And that's the video. It's food aggression. This is the video that you want to watch. Let me copy and paste it in the chat area that you can go ahead and watch. Um, so I'm gonna put it in the chat area, the link to that video that you can go ahead and watch. But let me see if I can um, let everybody actually watch this video so we can address this issue is if everybody is having the same issue. Food aggressive. So one of the reasons, again, that I don't usually suggest dog owners to use treats or food to train their dog or get involved to use treats or food to do tasks with their dogs, including beagles. This is it, because it makes them to become not aggressive, but they become sensitive about food. They start paying a lot more value on food. And in your case, Van, I would suggest if your beagle is that sensitive, that is getting aggressive, I would say make sure that first of all, you're just letting your beagle just to eat in peace. Just give the food and let it eat. Don't make a big deal of it. Don't make it to wait and things like that, because the more you do that, it becomes more sensitive about food. You know, most dog trainers would tell you the opposite, but this is my tip. Food is so important, especially to a beagle. When it comes to eating the food, just let it be. Let them eat the food in peace without causing any scene or anything like that. So to bring that anxiety level down. So your dog says, you know what? Okay, eventually it's not going to be a big deal. I just get the food. But try to not to use food throughout the day for everything, right? For training and things like that. Try to say you're going to be fed at 10 o'clock and 5 o'clock, for example. And those two times are the only times that he is interacting with food. Other times, there's no food involved. So therefore, he's going to be less reactive to food. Now, the other thing is that when you ask a dog to wait for the food before eating, the problem is that most dogs, they don't know what that means. The dog doesn't really know exactly what stay or wait means. So you have to teach the dog a good obedience command of stay or wait. Like you have to practice it really good for a long time for the dog to learn and understand exactly what stay or wait means. And then you start using other distractions or other situations, in this case the food, to ask your dog to wait for the food. At this stage, I'm sure your beagle really, it doesn't really know what stay or wait means. So when you use that technique that he doesn't know, it stresses him even more. So this is why I say for now, just let him be, let him eat it, the food, without making a big scene. But meanwhile, try to teach your beagle a good sit command, good stay command, good recall command, and then ask him to stay while you present the food and then release him to eat the food. But make sure that he knows all those before you put him in that situation. Most dog owners, they think their dog knows the commands of sit, stay, but the way you can test it to figure out if your dog knows sit and stay is by testing them in the dog park. If your dog sits and stays and comes to you, then you know your dog knows it. If they don't do it, they don't perform it, they don't come to you or sit and stay when they are in the dog park, that means they don't know it. That's how you know if your dog knows commands or not. So if your beagle doesn't know it in the park, it doesn't listen to you, don't do it in the house either. In the house, your task is to teach it before make them to do a task or command. So I hope that makes sense. You can go ahead and watch the full video again on the channel, but there are some tips there. Everybody should benefit from that. Food aggression is something that, sorry, I had that wrong. Food aggression is something that it's caused by internal stress, first of all, and the reasons a dog gets stressed and start being food aggressive is the food becomes the outlet to express his emotions. You know what I mean? That's an opportunity for the dog to say, I'm stressed, I'm anxious, and this is a way for me to release my stress. This is an opportunity for me uh, to get my anxiety and stress out. So again, it's internal, right? You have to address the internal issue. What is it causing your dog to get stressed? A lot of things can cause a dog to get stressed. Uh, what are the main reasons why a dog gets stressed? Is because dog owners, they don't provide their dogs. Let me no, share screen again. Um, Many dog owners, they don't provide their dogs daily five essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and affection. If you don't provide your dog's daily needs in this order, there's a chance that your dog can be stressed and anxious, right? And that these anxieties and this stress causes the dog to come up with ways to release an anxiety. It's anxiousness and stress. And your dog has selected to be aggressive towards food aggression. Some dogs become aggressive towards other dogs. Some dogs become aggressive towards humans. Some dogs become aggressive toward cats. Some dogs get start chewing the floor, furniture. Some dogs start digging a hole. Some dogs start destroying the backyard, whatever, right? So unfortunately, your dog has chosen to be releasing its stress using aggression towards food. I hope that makes sense. Thank you for the question.
Comment, SCP comment.
Mhm.
That's good comment.
Which one?
SCP.
Yeah, but which?
So it says thanks for your help. It's after she vanished.
After she vanished.
Thanks for your help. Can't thank enough.
Oh, yes, I saw this. Yes. So thank you for the feedback, SCP. What is the next question?
Oh, did you read that?
Mm,
Um,
okay, let me see.
I think, well, not question, but it's David Mushinsky.
David Mushinsky. Thank you for your channel. My beagle is going on 2 years old, and I use your training, but I'm not perfect, and neither is she. But we keep working. That's great. 2 years old, and there's still time. It's young enough to work on it. I said in the presentation that it takes about 6 months to a lifetime to train a dog. We're always trying to achieve that perfect dog. Myself too, as a dog trainer, a person who kind of knows most of the things about dogs, I'm still striving and having challenges to get to that point that I have a perfect dog and perfect beagle. Uh, all dog trainers, not only me, all dog trainers, they have some sort of challenge with their dog. I know that for sure because each dog is different. Each dog as an individual has issues. Each dog has, you know, myself and everybody, I think, ourselves, human as a human being, we all have issues that we are dealing with. We all have problems, and we all want to achieve certain um, level in our lives, right? And dogs have the same thing. They dogs go through the same thing as well. And in order to say that this dog is perfect, there's no perfect dog. We can always work to get to that perfect dog, but it's always a work in progress. So never give up and work on it. Yes. Um,
Terry,
Terry,
small.
I'm new to the beagle raising. I've got a pup, and like you have said, it's hard, but we got this. Thank you for your videos. I watch them all the time. They are so much help. Thank you. That's great. I really appreciate that.
Nancy.
Nancy says we need to cook bacon and meat to kill bacteria and kill E. coli and salmonella. Thank you so much and have a happy and blessed new year. Yes, you can also cook it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, Thank you for this online question and answer. Much appreciated. You are welcome. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And the last is this. Thanks for the wise words, Saro. Big hug to you from an Armenian friend. If you even ever in Portugal, just let us know for sure. uh, Definitely, yes. Thank you for the invite.
Last question. Say last question.
Okay, so last question is how can I get my dog to drink more water?
From yours truly, Alisa.
I don't see that. Where?
Last one. Yours truly, Alisa.
Oh, yours truly, Alisa. Yes. The question is, how can I get my dog to drink more water? Uh, I'm not sure what type of diet you're feeding your dog, but overall, if dogs feel like they need to drink, they will drink more water as well if they want to. If they are on kibble, definitely they drink a lot of water. You don't have to force them to drink. But if they are not on raw diet, on kibble or dry food, and if they are feeding or fed fresh food or raw diet or home cooked food, they don't really require a lot of more water because there's moisture in the food naturally, and they are happy with that and they're satisfied. My dogs, they hardly drink water unless they're having some physical activity. They get really active physically and they get thirsty, they drink. Or if I've given them a treat that is salty, that's way, or something that is been salty, they will drink water.
Make sure to give a filtered water.
Otherwise, they don't really drink water if you're feeding fresh food. Um, the other tip that I have is make sure that the water that you're giving to your dog is fresh and also hopefully filtered. Sometimes the city water has some kind of taste. I don't know where you're located, but some city waters they have chlorines and things like fluoride and things like that. It does change the taste of the water and the smell of the water. So that's why maybe they don't really like to drink that water. So yeah, I hope that helps. So last thing that I wanted to share with you and tell you is if you want to work with me, all you have to do is go to my website, sarodogtraining.com. I have a few programs that you can choose to work with me if you want to work with me and if you want to become uh, an educated dog owner. Um, I have three programs that you're welcome to join. One of them is Puppy Training 101, and the other one is Dog Training Without Treats. These two programs, these two courses, puppy training is for under 6 months old, and dog training without treats is over 6 months old. These are programs and courses that you can go on your own, on individually. You can register and learn on your own and on your own time. My perfect dog plan is a program that it includes all the puppy training and dog training without treats program plus weekly coaching calls. I work with you one on one. I help you achieve your goals. There are a lot of support in here. You work with me one on one. You hire me, and I become your personal dog trainer. If you like my system, if you like my style, that would be the choice for you. As I said in the program also today, that don't waste time trying to figure out how to train your dog. Invest time into training your dog. So, what I mean by that is pick one dog trainer, pick one system, pick one ideology, and stick to it and train your dog. Stop wasting time figuring out how to train your dog. Instead, train your dog. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you had a great time today. You learned something, and I learned a lot of things as well. And I want to thank you all for asking your questions, being involved with the community, and watching my video and supporting the channel as well. I have lots of ideas and videos and content planned for this year, and soon they will be up and running on the channel. I'm refreshing or redirecting the channel to more towards the content that is more aligned with my individual identity and individual mission that I have for the channel and the content that I'm providing. And you will see the content soon. And please make sure to subscribe to the channel and also click on the bell icon so you will be notified as soon as those videos comes up or if I go live. I hope you had a great time. I hope you benefited from this live session and my channel as well. Thank you all for your support, and until next time, have fun with your dog. Okay, don't forget to have fun with your dog.